share it? Hey Dave, can you share it? Share it
Do it
from your-
live.
Can you share it from your profile and not from Shiver that nobody follows?
What are you talking? What are you talking about?
Last time you shared it from Shiver, not from your personal profile. Yeah.
Oh, that's my mistake. I'm sorry. Yeah, that I should even just delete it.
I don't think you should delete it, but I also think
there
that
we
you
are.
can post it from it.
There's so much Demon Knight, so like.
Are we live? Where are we at?
Oh yeah, no, we're live. I'm just getting the share up on Facebook right now.
I'm posting it too.
Share to my share now public.
How was that do that?
Okay, so like, if you're looking, can you see the picture that's like the four of us being live?
Next to the share button,
Hey,
there's
what
a icon.
are you talking about? That came from me, dude.
No, I'm telling you, you didn't.
No,
Me and the corner, we're not both blind. We saw it. So from next to the share button, there's a little icon, and it tells you what page.
Make sure you pick you. Yeah. All right, I shared it, so I'm closing my Facebook so as to not affect my streaming capabilities.
I mean, I've already shared it.
Oh yeah, this time I was just last week you shared it. From Shiver.
Last week.
Yes, last week it was like Daniel and
Gotcha.
Neri and Shiver shared this.
That's weird. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. Jeff didn't even share it from any page. So
I did share it last week.
You know what? I just
shared it again right now.
I had been hitting the sauce last week, and
no,
you don't have to. You don't have to tell us, Dave.
Oh shit! All right. So what do we? All right, we got 4 views. We got 4 views. What's going on? All right.
Hey, thank you to everybody.
Thank you, all 3 of you. Fuck, one of you quit. Shit. All right. Never mind.
It might have, that one might have been me when I was checking my own page to see if it had loaded.
Let's be real. The 3 of them that are remaining might be the 3 of us.
Might just be us. Yeah, that's
So,
right.
I'm not watching.
We've been talking to ourselves doing this for a while now.
Yeah. Who cares?
we talk to ourselves and nobody else because nobody's listening.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're sober.
Oh, Neri front and center. I see. I see.
Look at that.
We'll do that and that. And
now
that.
we're seeing the world. We're seeing the world the way Neri sees it.
Very around the horn.
Right. We could do that, and then I could change it to like, oh, it's Dave's pick.
Oh,
look at that.
Look at you.
Yeah, man.
Welcome to watching as Neri learns how to do this. But yeah, you got a mute button.
Oh yeah, I got a mute button. Nobody else has one, but I got one.
Like you legit can mute us?
Oh yeah, I legit can mute you. Look, I could do this and go this, and you're done.
Wow.
Yeah, your time is up, buddy. 5 minutes.
So
that's how you do it. 5 minutes.
So before we start, Dave, I'm giving you credit, Dave, because I turned off and turned on my computer and it's working now. So should I switch to my computer or stick it on the
classic IT crowd business?
Just stick it out, man.
All right,
hold on. Let me just Google 5-minute timer.
So Neri, you can mute us, but who watches The Watchmen? Who mutes you?
No one watches The Watchmen here,
buddy. Nobody.
I am the law.
Nobody watches the comedian, bro.
I am the law.
All right. So, welcome to the Mt.Geekmore podcast. I was gonna say Mount Rushmore, like that's that's a thing. Welcome to the Mt.Geekmore podcast, where you come to watch because we're live on video and listen to 4 people discuss, talk, and argue about their top 4 of their favorite topics. Today's pop culture topic, I guess this is pop culture, is it? Fucking
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's the Mount Rushmore of cryptid monsters / beings. I don't know if monsters PC.
Yeah, totally.
All right.
They're just cryptids. You can just add an S and just call them cryptids. They're
Cryptids.
They're cryptozoological creatures.
For those of you who don't know what that means, like I didn't before today when it came up. Like I literally had to Google this shit. We're talking about monsters that some people apparently the only difference between cryptids and mythological beings are cryptids. Some people actually believe exist, Yeah, fucking morons. So cryptids such as Bigfoot and Sasquatch and shit like that. And so that's it. I'm sorry, Jeff. I know you're a believer in a lot of this stuff, but some of these cryptids are beyond like really.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. My number 4 is completely believable, but we will.
All right. So we will talk about that. Anyways, we go around the horn and we give our top 4. I am Nary Science. With me, as usual, is David Ulloa.
Howdy.
And with Daniel DeBona.
What up, y'all?
And Jeff.
What up?
As you can tell, David, Jeff, and myself are on this battle of like who could come up with the geekiest backdrop, while DeBona has the backdrop of a serial killer from 1972.
Ayo!
Coming live from the Ed Gain house.
Yeah. Some serious shit. All right. So we're going to go around the horn. If you are watching us live, I hope you guys are. Go to our Facebook page. Go to my, which is Mt.Geekmore on Facebook, facebook.com/Mt.Geekmore. If you're listening to us through the regular podcast channels, the audio version, just know that there is a video version that you can also play along with and comment with us live. And as you're typing in comments on the Facebook, we can see them and read them. To the 8 people that are watching us live right now, feel free to comment right now, because we then post your comments live on the screen so that everybody sees them, not just people that go into the comment section. So make sure to go to MT Geekmore on Facebook, or go to my Nary Science Comedy, which is Nary Science Comedy Facebook page. I also posted there. You could also watch us on YouTube. We are streaming live simultaneously on all 3 venues, all 3 channels. So with that said, let's go around the horn and talk about how we came up with our picks. David, how did you select your picks?
Before I do that, I would like to say that if we ever did a podcast just on Mount Rushmore, you said the Mount Rushmore podcast earlier, I would absolutely love to be on that podcast where we just talked about 4 presidents over and over and over again.
But the 4 that are actually on the mountain, or you?
No, just those 4. Just those 4. Never mention any other presidents, and that's it.
I'm really down for a Mount Geekmore of presidents that are not on Rushmore.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Yeah, we could do that.
I would like to do that.
Pullman from Independence Day.
We got 45. We got look at the bonus. Like, I'm not even gonna address this. We're not. It's a clear sarcastic joke, but I'm not fucking laughing, Nary.
I don't even fucking care about half the ones that are up there right now. So.
True.
All right.
Yeah.
So
anyway, these are ones that either at one point or another I was actually scared of, or I grew to be fascinated with because of some connection that I have with the cryptid. So I tried to pick some that were meaningful to me in some way. Obviously, not that I was ever like attacked by one of these things or have seen one. I have never seen a cryptid, but you know, I care about them in some way.
No one has.
I've been a guy I've seen plenty.
All right, DeBona, what are you how did you come up with your selection?
So I ran into a lot of opportunities where it's it's razor thin margins between what's a cryptid and what's just a mythological creature. So what I tended to hinge on was creatures that there are multiple documented experiences that people have had with them. Yeah.
Come on. Does somebody have the feed on in another one of the channels? Like, there's somebody looking at the video live? Because I'm getting
I can hear it too.
I could hear like a replay of what's being said like a half second later.
No.
So does somebody have it on? Is it me? All right. Maybe it was me.
Try muting yourself and seeing what happens.
But
all right, go ahead. Continue.
All right, yeah. So what I tended to hinge on was I looked for things where there were firsthand accounts, right? Like primary documents that where people had encountered these things, more so than them just being something that was in a story that somebody wrote or something that was almost a precautionary tale, something like that. All of the ones that I'm going with, there's at least multiple documented anecdotal type observations of these, and that ended up being the line that I drew between cryptid and mythological creature.
All right. Oh no, near
All right.
you.
There you go. Sorry, I know I muted myself to check.
Good night, buddy.
Jeff,
So
how did you
for
make the
me,
selection?
so it was me. It was a little tough because like the only like cryptid that I really like knew was Snoop Dogg. So I had to like do some research to see the. Thank you. Good night. Good night.
Murder was the case that
Um,
they gave me.
Look at Dave. So it was
Well,
tough.
it's before 1995, man. I know it.
So Debona and I had messaged Debona back and forth a bit, like getting like kind of like a second opinion because what I kind of realized is outside of the United States, it's a lot more of a mythological base to the creatures and to the legends like that than it is when you hear about Bigfoot or stuff like that. That it's always somebody that saw something with outside of the United States. A lot of times, not all the time, it's from written text or stories and stuff like that. There's never really a case of somebody necessarily seeing it.
Yeah, that's because when you're on the meth, man, you see some crazy shit.
So we hear.
Yeah, so we heard. So three of my picks are from the United States. My fourth pick ended up being it is a little bit more mythological, but it's such a metal cryptoid that I have to at least mention it. But yeah.
Another thing I did was I tended to focus on like nothing that seemed to be like a race of creatures, right? Like, oh, here's this race of things that are all. It's like I tended to focus like, yeah, there's this one, right? Like, there's this one thing. It was kind of something that I looked at too.
Daniel, I like the fact that you're like, it's not this race of things that don't exist. It's just one specific thing that doesn't exist. Like none of these things are proven. So the fact that you, in your mind, you're like, no, it's not a whole race of these things. It's only one. Like, how would you fucking know? Like that's it. There could very well be a whole. All right, whatever. Never mind. All right. I'm sorry. I made my selection. I don't know. I didn't know any of these except for like the big three, right? Which we all know the big three, and some of you may have them, and that's great. But I only know the big three, which were Bigfoot, the Loch Ness monster, and then whatever, and the chupacabra. Like I only know the big three. Like that. At least that's the big three to me in my head.
I would definitely consider that the trinity of well-known cryptids.
Yeah, so I had to do a little bit of research on this, and I decided to make my selection based upon the artist's rendition of these cryptids. I had to go based upon what the artist said. Like this is, and the more ridiculous, the higher it went up on my list. Like,
oh man, I think I know your list.
So
I think one of my honorable mentions is on your list then.
So I'm prepared for this list. This was weirdly fun. I was reading these and I was like, these dumb motherfuckers.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
Well, again, it's super fun for you because you actually believe this shit, Jeff. I don't believe any of this. This is to me. This is like
all of them.
Again,
like,
he only believes the ones that exist.
Jeff turned off the lights because
Dave, I know you're joking, but that is frighteningly accurate to what I think. Like, no, I don't believe in all these. I only believe in the ones that are real. I don't get why that's hard to understand.
Yeah,
you know how much it pained me that I could not put Cthulhu on this?
Cthulhu. It's a good one.
The old ones are real.
Daniel Daniel said Cthulhu as if he was remembering a time that he was hanging out with Cthulhu. Like, oh,
Yep.
Cthulhu. Remember that time we went to Vegas and got shit crazy? Like
We all had
said
one
it so
Cthulhu in our
fondly.
lives.
He said it so fondly. Like he's like, oh, Cthulhu.
Hey,
Good time.
Neri, before you start, real quick, I'm gonna switch to the laptop because you guys keep breaking since I'm on the Wi-Fi.
Awesome. Yeah.
So
You're breaking because you're on the Wi-Fi.
there you go.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
give me
go
2
ahead.
seconds.
Sure.
So near you just went with artist renditions. Were you looking for realistic or badass?
No, I was looking. First of all, there's no such thing as badass. All of these artist rendition are like the shittiest artist renditions I've fucking seen. It's the most fantastic. And some of these are like artist renditions from like last year. I'm like, what? How can they have Photoshop? Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
Because
And
that's
you
it.
know it's accurate.
They're all done by like composite sketch artists somewhere in the Ozarks.
Described to by some hillbilly on the side of the road.
the same hillbilly who sells that police officer his meth.
Yeah. Now, what's the guy who draws these could probably also very accurately draw the person who robbed you if you weren't high when you saw them. He's just drawing exactly what he's been told to draw.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Let's see where we got here.
Neri, your ticker tape skills are improving.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Jeff Mercatini,
That kind of
stop
like
moving around like
Chiron.
a child. It's distracting. That's right. You tell him, Dario.
Mm-hmm.
You tell him. That was a comment by Dario.
Does this count as a Chiron when we pop that thing across there, like at the bottom of like CNN?
Yeah.
That's a ticker.
Well, that's like the ticker way down there, but like when you pop up a comment like up here,
Oh,
I think that's more Chiron territory.
all right. Sure.
This fascinating conversation we're having. Jeff, you should come on back.
Jeff just texted me. He says, I'm in backstage.
Oh, you backstage. I didn't even
I've been waiting. I've literally heard this whole conversation, and I've been texting you guys.
Oh, after we praised
Thank you, Dario.
Gary
You're
for
right.
his
Sorry,
technical
I had
skills.
technical difficulties, Dario. That's a friend of mine. Thank you for watching, Dario.
Oh, you are much smoother now. And you sound better too.
See, there we go.
and there's no feedback. So
Do you want me to do the Snoop Dogg joke again? Or-
No,
no.
I never ever want you to make that joke again.
That's the thing. All right, let's start off. Holy schmoly, I forgot, guys.
Oh, sound effects
I
time.
did. I forgot to add the sound effects to the keyboard. I have the board set up, but only number 2 and 1. Yeah, and then round 1. So I already have those two. So I'm gonna again have to note this down so I could edit it for the
I'm in
audio.
no mood for your wisecracks. Let's get it on.
Bang, bang, bang.
All right, so
We don't need it.
let's see. All right, 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Jeff, what is your? I'm sorry, Jeff. Dave, what is your number 4?
My number 4, I went back and forth on which one to put at number 4. And I finally settled on it simply because I had slightly more interest in one than another, even though decidedly my number 4 is cooler. And my number 4 is the Kraken.
That is an honorable mention. I asked
Mhm.
Debona about the Kraken, but since it was way more mythological in aura,
Scope.
I guess, scope, I put it as an honorable mention because it deserved mentioning. But I
Love the
will
pick,
not
yeah.
knock the pick at all.
See, the Kraken to me kind of represents the romantic historical cryptid, right? So like this is what sailors
How lucky your wife must be. Did you consider the Kraken romantic?
There's something about a world-devouring monster that just tickles my heart.
I could just see the lights dim down, candle lights in the bedroom, and then Dave comes out and goes, "Ready to unleash the Kraken."
It's just a silhouette of all these arms.
He's got strings attached and paper mache.
Come
All
on,
right.
baby. Well, anyway, the Kraken. Yeah, I kind of thought of it as like if I was a sailor back 200 years ago, the Kraken would be the cryptid of the time, and this idea that I could get on a ship and be attacked in the middle of nowhere by this like absurdly huge, obscenely huge monster that would not just completely dismantle the ship, but probably take me down with it. Like that is terrifying. When we have seen it depicted in film, I don't think I've ever seen it in television or video games or something like that. Like it is always terrifying.
Yes.
And what for me is the most terrifying aspect of Cthulhu, because it is most foreign to humans, is the tentacle. The tentacle always has been and always will be the furthest that you can move away from something humanoid. And that's why so often we see creatures in horror, especially alien or otherworldly creatures, celestial creatures depicted with like squid-like or octopus-like tendrils, is because it is so decidedly not human. And a lot of the other creatures that you'll see on these lists are humanoid in aspect, or mammalian in some way, whereas this is pretty much as far from that as you can get. And to me, that makes it possibly the most terrifying on my list, even though it's not the one I have the greatest connection with. It's still just like absurdly terrifying. So the Kraken.
See, the thing with the Kraken, first of all, I'm so dumb. I only learned about the Kraken when that movie came out.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, the other one, the one where he goes,
20,000 Leagues
"Release
Under
the
the Sea."
Kraken." That's it. That's where
Clash of the Titans.
Clash of the Titans, the remake. And I was like, "Oh, Unleash the Kraken." I thought that movie invented that. And
Oh, really?
then like a year later, the Pirates of the Caribbean also had a Kraken, and I'm like, "Oh, is that a thing? Like, is that a Kraken thing?" And then I read up on it. I don't know why, but I read up on it, and I was like, "Oh, but that's just a giant octopus or a giant squid, right? Like that's real. Like they have giant squids. Like they have found fucking
Yeah, but they didn't find them until like 15 years ago. Like 10, 15 years ago. Giant squids were
when I
considered
learned
still-
about fucking Krakens. You see, it all comes
Yeah.
together. Like it's all to me. It's like, yeah, well, they have those. I don't understand why that's like.
I only believe the ones that exist.
Hey,
That was so Jack Blackish of you. Like,
Yeah.
the way you said that, the way you delivered that. All right. So I guess Kraken. I guess it's so weird because I don't see it as a cryptid anymore. I see it as like they've fucking found corpses of these massive giant.
see, but even like your giant squids, like the Kraken of lore is even bigger than what we look at as the giant squid now, right? It's this thing with this beak long enough. Yeah, seriously, that Kraken rum. But the Kraken of lore, had this beak that could punch holes in your ship, and that could literally just wrap the whole thing up and drag it down with it to the depths. And even the giant squids that are real, that's still a bit outlandish.
Yeah, but you're thinking about ships nowadays. Ships back then were smaller. It's a thing.
They fit in bottles. Haven't you seen these things? I mean, they're really small.
I have seen the ones in bottles. You're right.
All right. So we're gonna put in Kraken number 4 for Dave. DeBono, what do you got for number 4?
My number 4 is it's my homer pick. However, if one of y'all were to pick it, it would also be a homer pick, as this is a cryptid native to Florida and Alabama. Sightings very heavy in Dade County in the 60s. My number 4 is the skunk ape.
Table.
Yes.
So yes. Can't wait to talk about that illustration. Jeff, what do you got for number 4, man?
Mine is also a native pick. It's not. This is like my one, like kind of legendary creature. But it's also the most metal. I wish that every album would have the cover of this creature on it. It's from South Africa, Richesveld, South Africa, and it is the Grootslang.
Oh, let me look this up.
Oh, the Groot slang is dope.
Yeah. So, do you want a snake?
Wait,
All right,
can
you got to
wait. Can you just spell it for me so I could?
like.
Oh my
like
word! Yes, this needs to be on the cover of every album.
So the Groot, like baby Groot, Groot, then slang.
Like what up?
Like what up? Yeah. So, do you want a snake tail? I got you. Do you want an elephant head? I got you. Do you want giant tusks and fangs all mixed together? I got you. That's what the Groot slang is. And you know where you get to visit him? It's called the Wonder Hole. I'm not kidding. It's called the Wonder Hole, aka the bottomless pit in South Africa. It's this cave. He supposedly lives in this cave that is so deep it connects to the ocean, and that's how they believe it's come in and out. There has been one case where an entire expedition group was killed, and it's funny how the natives believe. They're like, oh, it's probably lions. No, it's the Grootslang. And they're like, okay, it's the Grootslang that killed them, not lions. But it supposedly is like 40 feet long, 3 feet and 3 feet wide for its tail. And yeah, so the funny thing about the creature is it likes precious stones. So if you tempt it with stones, it'll leave you alone. And it's basically kind of like a dragon where it has a horde of like stones and stuff like that.
Okay, it likes precious stones, so if you tempt it with stones, it leaves you alone.
Right, like you give it to him, like, hey, take these, and then you run away.
Emeralds, and then you flee.
I thought it was like, hey, the cross with a vampire, like, hey, look at this, and they're like, oh,
no, they love it. But if you want to talk about Neri about ridiculous like imagery, look up the Grootslang.
I'm looking at these Grootslings. All these illustrations look badass. They all look metal. None of these look. First of all, can I just tell you that if you Google Groot, I guess I'm spelling it right, Grootslang, there's a wide variation of different.
Yeah.
Like, some of these have legs, some of them don't have legs.
Mm-hmm. So there's one variation where they're basically the size of an elephant, and they're basically essentially an elephant. And then there's other variations where it's the body of a serpent with arms and the head of an elephant.
Yeah.
With giant tusks and fangs.
Yeah. No. When we get to my picks and you pull up illustrations, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. When I chose my illustration, that shit looks cool. Like when you chose looks cool. The cryptids I chose did nobody's work. Nobody at that level of Adobe has worked on the cryptids I picked. So yeah, there's that. All right.
Some kid in his AutoCAD class in high school is doing these things like, yeah, check this out. I'm gonna do a skunk ape. He's gonna have big circles around his eyes.
But yeah, I love the Grootslang pick. What kept me away from that one is typically the Grootslang is considered to be part of like the world creation myth in that area where it's from. And so that is why I stayed away from that, and I leaned more heavily on that being mythological, because like in the world creation myth there, the Grootslang were a whole race that could shake mountains and bring entire lands and level them. And then the way that this one has kind of worked its way into cryptid territory is that maybe one made it and he's still around in the Wonder Hole. But
in the Wonder Hole.
Yeah.
We need to make sure it's come visit the Wonder Hole.
I like the fact that the bonus, like, I didn't pick this one because it was its origin is around the world starting. You know, the world that was actually created, because we actually at some point this world was created, but I don't believe that. What I believe, the ones I picked are the ones where, like, yeah, it's all right.
While Neri is like this when they drew a dick on him.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
This one's got 3 balls, and I was like, oh yeah.
sold.
All right. So Groot slang. My number 4 is let me pull up this picture real quick. My number 4, this isn't even an illustration. This is the only one where I could find an actual fucking statue erected of this thing. Is the Mothman.
Table.
Table.
Okay. Man, I'm going for a perfect mountain, and I didn't even try. I didn't even fucking try. Holy shit. Yeah. All right. You see what I mean by illustrations? You see, when you look at the Mothman, you don't go fucking badass. That's metal.
You're looking at the wrong pictures of the Mothman, my friend.
Yeah, man.
No,
There's
no,
super
no,
badass
there's a
pictures.
statue, sir. There are statues. I'm looking.
I
at
know.
the fucking
Yes.
statue.
Yes. We'll talk about it.
Statues?
We'll talk about the statue.
All right. That is not badass. That is not.
No, the statue's ridiculous.
I said table, Mothman. Damn it.
All right. So the number 4s we have are the Kraken, the Skunk Ape, the Groot slang, and the Mothman. All right. Here we go. Number
He's
3.
gonna get a perfect table.
I swear to God. Not even trying. Like being the most skeptic motherfucker on the panel. I'm like, this is stupid. Oh, perfect mountain. Okay, cool.
Every group needs a Scully, man.
Yeah, man. Or yeah, I don't know what that means, but I get it in context. I get the context of it. I get
You're
it.
the skeptic. We're the Mulders.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it in context. I said that. All right, number 3s. David, hit me with your number 3, brother.
Now he's all confident.
My number 3 is the Mothman.
Table.
Okay.
Silly person.
Only for you, Lobo.
Hey, Lobo.
Alex Lobo has said to take it off, Jeff. I like the fact that there are people going to be.
How I get famous?
I like the fact that,
Earwolf watching.
there are people that are going to be listening to the audio version, and how when people comment on the live, we could all see it on the panel. Everybody can, including the viewer. So people are going to be listening to this audio, and they're going to be like, "Oh, cool," and then be like, "Take it off. What the fuck happened?" Like they're just going to be so completely lost. But if you watch us on live, on the go back. It's on YouTube.
If you guys want to see it, go to our OnlyFans.
Do it slowly. Do it.
Can I just tell you that? Can I just tell you that I have wanted to open up an OnlyFans as a complete joke, as a complete to be funny and shit. But I'm afraid of if I do that, people won't get the fact that I'm trying to be funny.
I don't think you have anything to be afraid of, Nary.
Be looking for that dick.
And people would literally think that people would literally think that I'm actually doing it as a real attempt. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to be funny. I don't want. All right. Anyways, DeBona, what do you got for your number 3?
My number 3 is a European pick, and it's one that I have.
Out of here with your European picks. I'm sorry.
But it's one that I've always been fascinated with. It is from the UK, and it is called the shuck or the black shuck.
Ah, yes.
The black shuck is a giant wolf that the stories go back to the mid 1800s where they would kidnap children, and there's an anecdotal primary source firsthand account of one tearing into a church and just destroying this church during a service. It's a giant black wolf. That's really all it is. It's this massive wolf, and while it contrary to how Dave was talking about the Kraken being tentacles and so far from human that it's terrifying, there's something uniquely fascinating and horrifying to me about a creature that in a wolf that's already very scary, and then it growing to a massive size while having the intellect of a human and ghostly features and possibly demonic motives in what it's doing. The shuck is one that is almost always depicted exactly the same. just a giant black dog or wolf, occasionally with red eyes, sometimes with only one eye, depending on the story being told. But the stories of the Shuck they go way, way back, and there's just something really weird about it to me that makes it scarier. I mean, and stories of the Shuck go back even further, 1850 being a very old one, but go back even further than that to the 1500s, where, like I said, there's this story of it running into a church and actually just destroying it, and a church full of people witnessing this. And what was
That's weird. I thought it would be a white Shuck that does that.
So it toes the line very, very, very finely between cryptid and kind of like this urban legend thing. But I did hinge on the fact that there are multiple written accounts of people seeing these black dogs in parts of Norfolk, Suffolk, and Essex. That's
what Sir Arthur Conan Doyle based the Hound of the Baskervilles
on. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Well,
and I really enjoy the aspect of the Shuck in that it's also a lot of times seen as an omen of death. If you see a Shuck, that's bad for you, even if that Shuck doesn't actually do anything to you. The concept that it's a cryptid, but also maybe these parts of Europe are thin spots in the veil, and that it's actually a not extraterrestrial is the wrong word, super terrestrial being, right? So not from Earth necessarily as much as not from this plane of existence on Earth, right? So it's possible that in these spots where it's seen, these are thin spots in the veil, the Shuck knows something that we don't, and then that's why it has become an omen of death. So just the lore that surrounds the Shuck is fascinating to me, and there's just enough written account that I feel confident in calling it a cryptid, not just a mythological creature.
All right, so a couple questions. Is this a black Shuck what was depicted in the movie 300 when Leonidas as a child went out and had to get, because I googled black Shuck images and it looks very similar to that of what Zack Snyder put in 300 when Leonidas as a child had to go out in the snow by himself, and he kind of had the Shuck, he trapped in between the mountains and in between the rocks.
It may have been the inspiration for that, yeah.
Because it looked just like the images that I'm seeing, one. And two, didn't you say that you picked shit that there's only one of? And in this description of what a black Shuck is, you literally said if you see a black Shuck.
Well, yeah, you're right. So kind of contradict myself there, but also in the concept of the fact that, like I said, if it's always the same black Shuck, right? Like so I don't know. Yes, Polio, the Shuck is like the Mothman in terms of being a bad omen. But so this one I may be contradicting myself a little bit, as the Shuck may be something that's there could be more than one of them.
Can we just say that any of these are bad omens? I mean, if I see a fucking Kraken, I don't think that's a good day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's a good luck. Like, oh, it's just good luck to what the fuck? Oh,
is that my 5 minutes?
No, that's a 5 minutes.
Debona, is it with the Shuck be, because I had as an honorable mention the Beast of Bodom Moor. Is that the same? Would be the same thing, right?
Very, very, very similar. Beast of Bodom Moor possibly being like a black Shuck. So yeah.
Okay.
All right. That's the first time we've ever heard the timer, because we've never had the computer connected to the soundboard. That's the first time we've heard it. Black Shuck. I like when they team up, when the black Shuck teams up with Jive. And that to me is one of my favorite duos.
Oh God.
Fuck you! That was better than your fucking than your Snoop Dogg joke.
People laugh.
Yeah. David laughed at mine, so there you go. And nobody walked away.
Nobody walked away. Snoop Dogg.
To be fair, I didn't laugh. All I did was sing Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
All right. So, Jeff, what is man, shuck and jive? That's hilarious. What is your
I liked it.
what is your number 3?
I rest my case. He liked it. My number 3 is going into the going into the realm of realism. We're gonna travel a little bit north of Debona to Lee County, and we're gonna talk about the lizard men of Lee County. The lizard
Love
men.
it. Honorable mention. Such a great pick.
So you have this creature that came around 1988 when the 16-year-old kid said he was driving home, and all of a sudden he had a flat tire, gets out of the car to change a flat, and in front of him he basically sees what I can only picture as a cooler version of the lizard from the Spider-Man movies, because it's a 7-foot tall scaly creature with like giant claws, and it just starts chasing him. He's able to get away, and when he finds his car, they find like scratch marks and bite marks to his car, and they have no idea where it came from. He's claiming it was this giant creature. You've got a situation where, and obviously everything can be faked, I know this, but they went out hunting for this thing, and the creature, they were able to find a print, and they cast a print that was 3 feet. It was 3 feet by long by 14 inches wide, and they took it to experts, and nobody could identify what kind of creature that would come from. They found that in the woods. It ended up causing a bunch of people to come in. CNN even did a news story on the lizard man. They came out and actually did a news story on the lizard man. There was a radio station that put $1 million bounty on anybody that would bring in a body of the lizard man. Some guy tried to fake it and then buckled under the pressure within like a few days after he brought like scales and blood and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, no, I faked it. I wanted the $1 million. But the idea that through South Carolina, you've got this 7-foot tall lizard creature that's going around tormenting people and hunting them and destroying cars, being a vandal. It's just crazy, the idea to me that, and then people like legitimately hardcore believe this and flocked over there to find this creature. And nobody's ever, to my knowledge, nobody's ever found anything, gotten any evidence aside from that footprint. There's been a few more instances where they've seen a creature running through the woods, but I just think it's cool as hell to think that there's just a lizard man somewhere in South Carolina just running around all over the place.
My favorite is when they give when just regular civilians have an eyewitness, and then they give footage. They give like, oh, he was 7 feet tall. Bitch, have you ever seen something that's 7 feet tall? How would you know what the fuck something that's 7 feet? Like, I wouldn't know what 7 feet. If something was 6'5", I'd be like, man, this motherfucker's like 7 feet. Like, I don't know what 7 feet looks like. I don't like how many 7 feet.
All of us are 7 feet to David.
Yeah,
you may as well be. Fuck, you're 7 feet if you're 10. It doesn't matter.
That's like all I keep thinking about. And then we'll talk about other ones where I'll bring up other ones where they're like first-hand accounts, and they're like, he had the wingspan of like, how do you fucking know? Like, have you ever seen something with a wingspan that 7 feet? Like, you don't even know. Shut up. Like, it just always makes me laugh. Like, I think about the movie Predator when they go, oh, that was 14 feet, right? the newest Predator. And he goes, how do you know? And he's like, I used to be a construction worker. I used to work construction. Like, I know how to, like, he could eyeball it and be like, oh, it's by comparison. I'm like, well, at least that kind of gives a, all right. I can see that, but it always makes me laugh. Oh, I was changing my tire and I saw 7 foot. You were squatting down. The fuck do you know what 7 feet looks like when you're squatting down? But never heard of this lizard man, but by the pictures of it, it looks pretty badass. Not gonna lie. Pretty fucking badass from these Google image searches. One of them, he just looks lonely. I'm looking at one of these. Lonely.
My favorite one, if you Google, is just the guy in the suit.
Oh yeah, the cast. Yeah, the gray shit. Yeah. But I like some of these illustrations make him look like lonely. What if he's just like, dude, I just want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I know I look awful, but fuck, I'm lonely as fuck. I want
to exchange recipes. Like, Jesus, I just want to.
I was trying to help the guy change his tire. He fucking freaked out on me.
Yeah, like I realized I couldn't. I just popped everything because of my claws.
All right. So the Lizard Man of Lee County. I don't like the fact that he doesn't get a name. He doesn't like. What if he's like? Can you imagine him having Wi-Fi and he's like, "I'm not from Lee County. I was visiting my mom. All of a sudden, I'm from Lee County." You mother.
What would you call him?
I don't. You know.
What
I don't
would his
know.
name be? Todd?
I
Did
don't
you
know.
just say Todd?
It has
Todd
to
the
be.
Lizard Man.
It has to be something with an L, like Larry the Lizard Man, right?
Alliteration, just
Yeah, man. Like, I don't know. Be funny. All right. So that's your number 3. My number 3 is the skunk ape.
Yeah, table.
I was like, I think Dave had that one.
I was like, wait a minute, somebody still got a table.
Yeah,
skunk
table.
ape. All right. Let's go on to our number 2.
Look at this one, Neri. Did you see this picture?
No, that's the best illustration ever. All right. So number 2 is Dave. What do you got for your number 2, man?
I don't think anyone has it higher. The skunk ape?
No.
No.
We can talk about it now.
Yeah, so the skunk ape is one of those that I didn't really find out about the skunk ape until I was in high school. And I guess like the stories of it had died down. It was really big in the 60s and 70s, apparently. And in high school, I had a teacher. That's the dude.
That's the picture.
That's
Yeah.
an artist rendition. If you're looking at the video, the artist rendition is from 2009, bro. 2009.
That's
That's
in this
the best
millennium.
you can do in 2000. Are you out of your fucking mind? I'm sorry. Well, go ahead. I digress.
The problem is that the sketch artist is as cracked out as the skunk ape is.
All the smells.
This is my favorite part about that illustration right here. Hold on. This is my favorite part about that illustration. Somebody signed their name to that shit. Like somebody's like, no. Don't take credit for my shit, bro. This is my illustration. Like,
You're gonna know who did this.
You want any more cracked out humanoids? You come see me. I will
Matthew Ellis
that
is
shit.
his name. Matthew Ellis is his name. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Talk about the. I just found out this cake literally 25 minutes before we press record. Swear to God. Never.
So
and I was like, Florida, Homer pick.
Well, yeah, you know, and that's
caught it in the
why
wild.
there it is.
So you found out about it at high school, Dave?
High school, yeah. I took a class called Florida History. If Lobo is still here, he probably took this class too with OB, with Mr. O'Brien, and he talked about the skunk ape, and I was like, "The fuck is this thing?" And so we talked about it in class. He talked about the sightings of this thing, and so I went back home and I talked to my dad about this thing. He was like, "Yeah, people were seeing that thing all over the place back in the day." It's like, "Did you ever see it?" He was like, "No, I don't believe in that shit." So my father is like you, Neri, very much a skeptic. Doesn't believe in any of that stuff. But over time, you know, someone will, in conversation, the skunk ape comes up, and then I'll do some more reading about it. And over time, this thing just keeps coming up, and it just becomes a part of your life. And for me, the skunk ape always reminds me of a man who's now my friend, is a teacher at that school, and the you know, just awesome time that I had with him, still have with him. So I've got that connection with the skunk ape and the state of Florida. Just to me, it all, you know, comes together to form one great jambalaya.
I like the fact that in the Wikipedia for the skunk ape, it says that during the COVID-19 pandemic, several Florida businesses have used the skunk ape's reported foul smell, giving incentive to remain at a distance and evasive nature to promote social distancing. So it's very still in the conscious.
Yeah, man. Play the hand you're dealt, right?
Like, hey, like I love the fact that there's like, even the skunk ape is like, hey man, wear a mask, don't be a dick. You know what I mean?
Like and like I said, for me, for me, this is a homer pick as well because the skunk ape, the swamp squatch, if you will, the stories of that reach up into Alabama and into the Gulf Shore area and stuff like that in national forests around there, and it's hilarious to me, this concept of, it's like, yeah, sure, the Pacific Northwest has got Bigfoot, but like, we're fucking Florida, right? Like, ours is just a little bit taller than a normal guy, super hairy, and smells like shit. Like that. Like, we don't have time to put a lot of mythology into this. We're just telling you about a guy we saw leaving the gas station at 4 this morning, and maybe he was pretty tall.
I love if you read about the skunk ape that it says like he purposely covers himself in dead carcasses so people just leave him alone.
Yeah,
Like it's just like
social distancing champion.
Yeah. So fun fact: so I was driving to Fort Myers last month, and if you go down 8th Street to 41, I think it is, after you drive for about an hour and a half, there is a skunk ape museum in the middle of the Everglades, where they just have statues of the skunk ape all in front of it, like in the bushes and behind trees. So as you're driving by, you see them like in the high grass. At first, I was like, holy, when I was driving up, we were pulling up, I was like, oh shit. And then I saw the other ones. I was like, oh wait, no, never mind. And then I saw Skunk Ape Museum.
Matthew Ellis had a meet and greet, had a signing there the other day, where he signed autographed copies of his illustration. That's his con. Like that's his con.
Yeah.
Like, every year they go, okay, come down to the.
Yeah, they call it Skunk Con.
Yeah,
he lives off $10.
Yeah.
You
ain't buy a framed one.
So skunk ape is Dave's number 2. DeBono, what do you got for number 2, man?
My number 2 is Australian, and it's one that, depending on where you're reading, there's just the one, versus one account does say that there may be multiples, but the origins of it are, it's just the one. It is called the bunyip, Bunyip. The bunyip is a weird creature that lives in swamps and creeks and watering holes around Aboriginal Australia. And the original accounts of the bunyip were that it was this weird, giant, mutant starfish. But later accounts say it's more almost like a giant dog otter hybrid. And honest to God, the stories of the bunyip that come out of Aboriginal Australia are just absolutely terrifying. Like I said, it goes way back. Bunyip is, some people say that it translates as like evil spirit in Aboriginal languages. However, that part's disputed. But it basically will eat anything that gets close enough to the bunyip will be eaten. And it's got high eyes, meaning that it's some sort of like ambushing predator, and it lives in areas where people have to go, where there's water. And so it's this super weird one that I just came into contact with within the past couple of years. Not coming to contact with the bunyip, but the concept and the idea of a bunyip. Never been to Australia, but
is that why you've never come in contact with it? Because you've never been to Australia? It doesn't fucking exist. Oh, thanks for clarifying that. I've never seen one because I haven't been to Australia. Okay.
But when you read these stories, they are 100% of the time documented as malicious. So many of the other things that we're putting on this list, people talk about seeing them, right? Like, oh yeah, I saw the skunk ape and he smelled terrible and he was way over there, but I just saw him and he ran away. He's as scared of you as you are scared of me. The story of the bunyip is that he don't give a fuck about you. Like, he's not scared of you. There is nothing about you as a human that scares the bunyip.
Oh, bunyip and honey badger, same.
He's just right.
Either way, they don't give a fuck.
He can't be bothered to come get you, but if you get in his way, done deal. right? It's over for you. The sightings go all the way back to the early 1800s, as far as being documented, and there are some terrifying drawings. Like I said, some of them you'll find, and it's just like I said, it's almost like this weird dog otter hybrid. But you occasionally find these ones that are just absolutely terrifying in the way they look. And there's a lot of places in Australia that claim to, it's just like anything else, right? Like, oh, we've seen one. Oh, we've got his footprint. Like, oh, we found this bone, right? But it's just a really interesting one. And when you read about the bunyip, it's one very similar to Sasquatch in the Pacific Northwest, where there's just stories and stories and stories of people who have seen or encountered and survived. So it's one that seems to go well beyond the mythological aspect of it, and the fact that it's very deeply rooted in certain parts of this Australian and Aboriginal culture. And like I said, I just find it personally terrifying because so often, like I said, it's always that thing. Oh, well, they're just scared. They don't want to be seen. But
can we look at this picture of a bunyip? How fucking great is that? Because every cryptid has the little Tom and Jerry fucking stick.
The stick and bundle.
The stick and bundle where
Riding the rails.
The Australian rails.
On his walkabout.
So sure.
Looks like he's about to smell a pie that makes him float through the air.
I know. But can I just tell you, like, I'm looking at images for bunyips, and they are massively different. Like from one to the next. Like there's not a consistent.
No.
This one straight up there's one that straight up looks like
eating a human. Did you see that one?
No, I'm looking at one. I'll show you the one I'm looking at now.
Yeah, because there's one that I found online that it's literally looks like a tiger coming out of the water with a full human in its mouth.
Yes, yeah, and that's how big they can be. That's like the main Wikipedia picture. Yeah. Is that one that, like I said, yeah. But they
what the fuck?
What is happening?
What the fuck is that? There's a picture.
Yeah, that's very different.
If you're listening to the audio, we're posting pictures up on the live.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there's one of them where it looks like it's a raccoon, not a raccoon, a kangaroo mixed with a rabbit, and then a duck eating a smaller rabbit. I don't know.
Yeah, there's like I said, the stories surrounding the bunyip are just grand in scale, in scope, in quantity and quality, and so it's one that I thoroughly enjoyed finding out about and have read a lot about. So it crept all the way up to number 2 because it's a lot of fun. The bunyip of Australia.
Mm-hmm. Out of all the ones we've talked about so far, the bunyip is the only one I may be inclined to believe is real, only because Australia's got some crazy shit going on.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Wild ass shit going on in Australia.
People were never supposed to live in Australia. It was only supposed to be full of nature's mistakes.
Yeah, it was. I thought it like,
and the British knew that. They were like, "Whoa, this place fucking sucks." Prison, whole island, prison.
Yeah. I think that the whole idea of Australia was like nature's like Coliseum. Like, let's fucking get it on. Let's see. Like, let's everybody go after everybody. It's just gonna be fucking. It's gonna.
For God, let's
get ready to rumble.
Yeah. It's literally Thunderdome.
Yeah,
it's just like fucking God's Thunderdome. With it, like, let's see what happens, mate.
2 cryptids enter, 1 cryptid leaves. 2 cryptids enter, 1 cryptid leaves.
What happened when we put a duckbill on this badger that lays eggs?
I wonder what a scorpion kangaroo would look like.
So that's the only one I'm entitled to believe a bit, just because it's fucking Australian. All right. The bunyip. Jeff, what do you got for your number 2, man?
All right, so keeping it again in the US. So I know we said Nessie's not like the one to go with, or that we can't pick Nessie, which I wouldn't anyway because this one exists. My number 2 is called Champ. It's the lake monster of Lake Champlain
Vermont. One of the reasons that I think this guy is better than Nessie, Champ, is one, there are massive eyewitness accounts at one time. There was a steamboat that literally hundreds of people on the steamboat all said they saw this giant creature. Basically, they said it's a giant serpent-like creature. It's not exactly Nessie. That the boat hit and nearly capsized, but they had hundreds of witnesses see this.
they were all on the back of the fucking steamboat, chucking in the fucking steam, taking in all this fucking carbon monoxide. They're taking in all this carbon monoxide. They're like, we all saw it, right? Yeah, we all saw it. Like they're all fucking super high off carbon monoxide. And they're like, yeah, it's fine. We saw it.
Look, I saw it.
There's
All
one
right.
guy in a bathroom dumping his baggie down the toilet and flushing it. Stop!
now with Champ, the sightings go back to the 1700s, where they have records of the local tribes like telling people, hey, there's a monster in there, don't go into that lake. And it's been from since then till now. There's sightings as recent as like last year of the creature. There's a famous photo called the Massey photo, that has unlike the Nessie one, this one has yet to be debunked by science. They've run it through different like processes and stuff like that, and they said that it has not been altered in any way, that everything is original, everything's normal, and they have no way of proving with science that it is not real. And you see a pretty clear picture of this creature in the middle of the lake. To me, it's just cool, especially also adding the fact that the state of Vermont has officially legally protected it. So Champ is legally protected by the government of Vermont from any harm. So it's there's this huge thing around it. They have there was this professional bass pro fisherman that was out there, and he has video that he released video of this giant just mass right in front of him, and he literally drives up to it, and you see this mass like drop into the water. So there's pretty interesting evidence of this creature's existence. And the thing is, Lake Champlain is so big that it's easy for something to kind of get lost in there, and it's deep too. So it's easy for something to hide in there. So I just think it's cool because it's just this this creature that still has the kind of awe of Nessie, but there's evidence that still hasn't been disproven. Unlike Nessie, like that famous Nessie picture was disproven. The guy on his deathbed admitted that he doctored the picture, that him and his friends did it. This one still has not been disproven.
Yeah, that's what they want you to think, Jeff. That's what they want you to think. The government got to him when he was in his deathbed, and they made sure his family was well taken care of. If he only said that he doctored the fucking footage, that's what they want him to think, bro. That's what the man wants you to think, bro. Illuminati, bro.
The Scottish Illuminati.
I like the fact that you like that's what made it disproven. At his deathbed, I was like, the blurry ass picture.
He did though. He said it. No,
yeah, he said it was just one of those soup ladles that you can get now.
That I've never heard of Champ, but I mean, his marketing name is on fleek. Down, bro.
And what's cool is that the original Massey photo, you can go to the lake, and it was donated to a gift shop that's on the lake. So like you can actually go there and see the actual original photo. So it's pretty cool.
I'm trying to see when the state of Vermont banned the Confederate flag, and how quickly they were to 2019. All right, so they fucking took care of. They took care of Champ. They protected Champ with that fucking Confederate flag. Let's have a discussion about it, guys. Let's not get too crazy. Okay. What's it called? Champ. I want to put up a picture of this shit. Champ, the lake monster.
You're right, Lobo. Yeah. You're right about that. Our buddy has a big dong, and we call it Nessie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I see Champ. Okay. Is there a way to see Champ that he's not in Lego form?
Yes. There's him in parade form.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Which is the picture that they're talking about?
So if you Google, let me
Is it
see.
the
I'll
black
look.
and white picture? I'm assuming
It's not black and white though. It's
No,
in
it's
color.
not black
The
and
original
white, it is
picture's
in
in color.
If you type Massey photo champ, it's the first thing that pops up under images.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I see it. Well, good for them.
Good for you. Not the Confederate flag thing, but good for you with Champ.
Yeah, I mean, you're protecting this thing, but I mean,
Hey, better late than never.
Yeah, but they also took care of Champ before anything else. So
Listen, I don't know.
that was the
You're right.
yeah, that was a fight that he was like, yeah, I'm not dying on this hill. Fuck this. Fuck those people. All right, man.
Damn Yankees.
Champ the Lake Monster. Right on. All right, my number 2 is another bit of a homer pick. Just like the skunk ape, I picked not only based upon the amazing illustration, but also because it's from Florida. So as a Florida dude, you go, hey, fucking because Florida, right? So
Rick Scott.
my no, I want to monsters that I don't believe in.
Thank you.
That well makes up for the Snoop Dogg joke there.
That's good. That's really good.
Look what Polly wrote about Lake Champlain. Yeah.
Polio writes, the lake is also deep and considered one of the unofficial lakes of the Great Lakes.
So Champ could hide pretty easy.
Let me ask you a question. If it's considered one of the unofficial lakes, isn't every lake that's not in the Great Lakes considered one of the unofficial? It's unofficial. Like who they're all there's only 5 official, and all of the other ones could be unofficial, right? I mean,
but it has to be invited to join. Like if the 5 lakes don't get together, like someone has to gavel in, like Lake Erie or Superior.
No, it's gonna be Lake Superior.
Call to order.
So cocky. Lake Superior is like, oh, look at me.
There's no way that Okeechobee's getting in there. Lake Okeechobee's like no. Florida man's got to stay in Florida.
Yeah. So my number 2 is my homer pick is the only cryptid, and I know you guys are gonna say it's popular, but it's the only cryptid that came from that at least from my 2 hours of research that came and was inspired by and came up from fucking Latinos. So I'm gonna go Chupacabra. Like that's my shit. I'm like,
Tabled.
And it's
tabled.
I'm getting a
damn, Nary, you are gonna throw fucking perfect.
Those last 3 picks were tabled.
All right.
Yeah. Oh man.
One day I'll talk about my fucking picks. I'll get there. You'll see.
We ran out of time.
So the number 2s are the skunk ape, the bunyip, the champ, the lake monster, and the chupacabra. What do we got for honorable mentions?
All right,
Dave.
My honorable mentions are Bigfoot, the Yeti.
I've never had somebody say. Alex Lobo just commented that I'm overthinking it, and I've never had somebody say.
I don't know, man.
Have you met Neri?
Words have never been said before. Neri, stop losing weight, and you're overthinking it. Those are things that have never been said to me. But go on. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate the gesture. David, go ahead. Your honorable mentions.
Ozark Howler and the Jersey Devil.
Okay.
Ozark Howler's so fucking metal. My such a great pick. My honorable mentions, I've got the Altamahaha out of Georgia. It's like a sharp-toothed dinosaur sea creature in the Altamahaha River. The Falk monster, also known as the Boggy Creek monster from Texarkana. and the Jersey Devil, and one that kind of toes that line again between cryptid and mythological creature, the Rougarou out of Louisiana, which in some stories
Werewolf, right?
they're kind of considered werewolfy. Some they're just considered to be giant wolves. They come from the French idea of the loup-garou, but the Rougarou out of Louisiana is a lot of fun one to read about.
So I had the Beast of Baltimore, the skunk ape. I've got one that Neri, speaking of what you had mentioned about the weight thing, there's one called the Ningen that's out of Antarctica. I'm just going to read the description real quick. It's been described as humongous, blubbery, whale-like creature with whose smooth, pale form vaguely resembles the head, torso, and appendages of a human being. So
just me on that week between Christmas and New Year's.
and look up a picture of it, and it's terrifying. It's nightmare fuel. The pictures that they have of this thing. Ningen. Then I have the skunk ape, and then one that Neri, if you want to see badass pictures, please look up the bat squatch of Mount St. Helens.
Bat Squatch.
It's basically a werewolf with bat wings.
Yeah, fucking another metal ass pick.
I like when they combine like two mythological, like two cryptids, and it's like the benefit of cryptids, where they're like, where like the Sasquatch was dating a bat, and then they called it Bat Squatch. And when they do a couple's name, it's fantastic. All right. My honorable mentions are, look, he's the fucking go-to because he's the go-to. It's fucking Bigfoot, right? You got to honorable mention to the big guy, dude. I know. Coming from somebody who last episode was like, workout songs. I don't want to talk about Rocky because it's fucking. I understand, right? Same reason I don't want to talk about fucking Bigfoot, but give the guy fucking his credit. Give the guy his due, man. It's he's the OG. So Bigfoot and his cousin the Yeti, which again people think it's the same thing, but it's not the same thing. It's like a fucking grizzly bear and a polar bear. Are they both bears? Sure, but put one in the other's fucking climate, they're not gonna do so well. Not gonna do so well. So I go with that, with the Yeti, because he eats snow cones and not the yellow ones.
I like strobe lights inside of mountains.
I know. Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. Because the rest of this, I'm not familiar enough to be able to say.
Whichever Drake game had the Yetis, they were fucking terrifying too.
Oh,
was that the second or the third one?
That was the third one.
Yeah, where you like go to Nepal. Oh
yeah.
God, they were horrifying.
What did you say? The Drake games?
Yeah, Uncharted. There was an Uncharted game that had
Right.
Not YOLO Drake.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I was like,
Nathan Drake.
And then Drake was like the third one. I'm like, yo, I'm not that familiar with Drake's discography, but I was like, I heard something about Yetis, bro. Like
Grassy, rap, video games. He's a triple threat.
Yeah. All right, so those are my honorable mentions. Let's go to number ones.
Round one. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back.
Do it. Do it. Come on. Come on.
All right. By the way, can we just talk about the fact that whenever we put up somebody's comments, we could see where they're watching us from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, really?
YouTube, YouTube or Facebook. It shows.
Alex is looking at us from.
Oh, I see.
Darlo was watching us. You see there through Facebook.
Ah.
That's the thing. I love this fucking thing. Gotta be honest with you. I know I'm geeking out over this shit, but it's fucking so nice. All right. So to our number ones, David. Hit me with your number one. There.
Well, my number one, I just tabled you, is the Chupacabra.
That's right.
So the Chupacabra, as you said, Neri, this is one that comes from Latino culture, specifically Puerto Rico. So I have pretty much most of my mother's family lives in Puerto Rico, and so whenever I'd go over there to visit, or they'd come here to visit, we'd hear stories about the Chupacabra, and I had no idea. I'm a little younger than you guys are. I had no idea that the the legend of the chupacabra starts in the mid 90s.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I was watching the TV when it broke out on fucking Latino fucking news. My mom's watching soap operas and it fucking breaks out on fucking Univision. Breaking news. And I'm like, what? Like, I was like, I could literally say that I can recall, me at 39 years old can recall a time before the chupacabra quote unquote existed, and when it was the first appearance of the chupacabra. I was like, is this like, I thought it was a joke, and I thought it was, whatever, and I believed it. I was like, no, this chupacabra, that's a thing. I saw it on the news.
I was 8 years old when the chupacabra story started coming out, but it took over right away. And all of the older people in my family would scare the ever loving shit out of me with the chupacabra. So it was like, hey, you better eat your fucking vegetables. You want to know why? Because the chupacabra is gonna come get you. And I was like, oh shit, I gotta eat my veggies, so shit like that. So that was actually
Chupacabra song.
Yeah, I don't remember what chupacabra song. Alex
looking it up right
Sopo was talking about. He commented, if we remember a chupacabra song, and I don't recall a chupacabra song.
But now,
But here's
now
my
I
question,
want
Dave.
to find
When they scared you into like eating your vegetables because the chupacabra, the name never got to you. Like the fact that he sucks goats, like that part never rang. It never clicked for you.
No,
I immediately was like, this dude just likes goats. He's just goats. He's a vampire for goats. I'm not a goat. I don't have nothing to fear from this dude.
It was, and I was talking about this with Steph, and she apparently had the same thing happen with her, where her family would use it almost like a boogeyman, where it was like, hey, the boogeyman's going to come get you if you don't do this or you don't do that. And it was totally a way to control children. And I bought it hook, line, and sinker. And
I watched too many horror movies at that point. That would. I was like 13. What, 12, 13? 13 when it first came out.
Well, yeah. See, I was 8 years old, so I mean, I'm still, an impressionable, wet behind the ears Ute over here. Yeah, Ute. So I'm like, shit. I was just absolutely terrified. It wasn't until I got a little bit older where I was like, you know what? There's something ain't adding up here. Its name is suck a goat. So I don't know if it's gonna
that is
be
the dopest chupacabra picture. I love that one so much.
Yeah. This is. I mean,
that's the cover of his album.
That's actually Drake's third album.
It was the sequel to Yeti.
Yeah. I love this pick so much, and I will be honest with y'all. The reason that I didn't put it on my list is because I was not going to embarrass myself and say that before the three of you could say it, because I knew it would sound much cooler coming from the three of you than if I said it.
Neri, do you want to? You want to go? You were saying one of these days you're going to be able to talk about your picks.
Yeah. Look, man. Honestly, that's what I was meaning to say. It's like I remember the inception of the chupacabra. By the inception, I mean the first time anybody ever heard of it. Whether I obviously I don't believe it's true. I'm a cynic, but at the same time, I love the fact that I was alive and remember it clearly. And on top of that, maybe this is what Alex what Lobo was talking about when he said that I'm overthinking it. But I love the fact that all of these cryptid monsters, creatures, whatever you want to call them, wherever they're from in the world, I in my 2-hour research, I only found one that's of like Latino descent, like, you know what I mean? And I don't know what that says. Like, does that mean that Latino people are like, no, we got our own scary shit? It's called poverty. We don't fucking need we don't fucking need mythological animals. But
he found it. He texted me the song, but I don't know if we can play it.
Well, if it's a video, I could play the video.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Also,
I sent you a picture of the Chupacabra's rap album cover.
If you post the video, but you have to email it to me. You got my email.
I can't just send it through Messenger.
He's got to get it on his computer because
I got to get it on my computer first.
Well, I sent it to you through Facebook because he just texted it to me. Let me see though. Well, let me see.
But yeah, the I love the fact I'm looking at all these pictures, of the chupacabra, and
Did you see the one I texted you of him with a gold chain and sneakers on?
that's fantastic.
It's literally the Chupacabra's rap album cover.
It's fantastic. So yeah, so I don't know. It's
Oh my god, that's amazing.
He's got the goats around him too.
where's he at? Let me see. Give me the picture. I want to get the picture.
One of my favorite things about Chupacabra is that like the images of it are so varied, from like just mangy dog to what is obviously like a winged demon that, that is malicious in its intent, not just feeding.
That's kind of what I used to envision it as, was as this like winged devil that would come in and swoop up children who were not behaving.
Eat their Brussels sprouts.
There's not a single picture of the chupacabra. There's not a single picture, a single illustration that has him as with wings. Where are you seeing wings?
Yeah, dude. Like I just scrolled down through Google Images and he had wings.
He has wings right there, Neri.
Which one did you send me? I only see the song.
I had texted you the no, I already showed it. This picture.
Oh, it's my phone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You texted me not. Oh. That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, Debona, here you go. That one has wings.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, like I said, much more demonic that looking chupacabra.
I love the fact that it has sneakers. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Because it's not chasing these fucking goats barefoot. That's
no,
crazy.
man. They're pumps. He needs to pump up.
Of course.
Let's see here. He said he had Alex Lobo says that he no lie, I had a chupacabra sighting with my brother back in the 90s. Sounds like a lie.
I'm not calling you a liar. I'm just saying the things you say
aren't truthful.
Yeah, man. Again, maybe that's what he means by overthinking it, the whole Hispanic thing. That's pretty fucking cool that they come from our people, you know.
I thought I saw the chupacabra, but it was on A Street and it turned out to be just a cracked out prostitute.
Also,
probably more fun.
It did suck a lot. So,
but it wasn't goats. It wasn't goats.
All right. So if I had the video like ahead of time, next time, just for future reference, if you have a video, email it to me so I could save it on my computer, because this thing gives me a chance to input videos.
Okay.
So I could do that.
Get so fancy on them.
Yeah. All right. So that's Dave's number one. DeBono, what do you got for number one?
My number one is a cryptid that has been tabled already, so I don't need to do a ton of intro, but it's one that when I first learned about and I didn't know too much about, it wasn't terrifying to me. And then as I actually read more and more about it, it became, honest to God, one of the scariest things that I've ever taken any time to research, and it's the Mothman.
That's my number one also.
This was my number 3.
Like I understand the concept of if you're new to the Mothman, or that shitty Richard Gere movie is all the reference that you have, not finding the Mothman to be terrifying. But when you delve into this West Virginia folklore of the Mothman showing up in the 60s before the Silver Bridge collapse, it's terrifying. The stories that these people have of what they saw of these humanoid creatures with these massive wingspans and these glowing red eyes. And what always gets me in the stories of the Mothman is these people who wake up and they just see it and nothing happens. It doesn't run. They don't move. They feel paralyzed, and they have this feeling that it's trying to communicate something. This idea that there's a reason that it's there, that it has something it wants to tell you, but it's not necessarily, again, like I said, something where, is this a spot where the veil was thin? Is this something that's super terrestrial and was a portent, I believe is the word I'm looking for, of things to come, right? Like it was an omen, and he maybe was trying to warn of this. And he's evil looking so often in the way he's portrayed in the one or two like photos that people have of him. but it's completely possible that what the Mothman is or was is completely benign. Yes, there's the statue.
I
the
love
statue in Point
the
Pleasant.
statue. I love the fact that the in the statue he has a six pack. Like you gotta, you know what I mean? Like, hey man, I'm a Mothman, but I also have I gotta work on my
Dude,
core. What do you
flying,
think? I gotta work on my core?
flying, bust your core up, bro. What are you talking about?
Does he have jeans? What does he have on? Is that fucking what is that?
He's Mothman, sir. He might have pants.
So, but all these sightings in West Virginia, like I said, they all came right before the Silver Bridge collapse in 1967, and 46 people died. So this idea that this thing that's become a major part of West Virginia folklore was there to possibly try to stop this from happening, or to warn people that it was going to, but because of whatever means it had that allowed it to be there, to be visible, perhaps communication was one step beyond what it was capable of, right? Like this idea that it's not evil. It's just scary to us because it's beyond our comprehension. It's have you ever been
about Larry the Lizard Guy, bro? That's what it's
right, like have you ever been driving like at night and swear you catch like a person right out of your peripheral, and it turns out it's just a mailbox? It's that weird thing where your brain fills in because it can't just have a gap. It sees something and it needs to make it something. So this idea that we can't fully comprehend what the Mothman is or was, and why he was there, and so it became almost a tulpa of sorts in the fact that when people spoke their truth of what they saw in the Mothman, that they perhaps gave it this form, and that's why it became something that was told across so many different stories. Interesting thing about the Mothman, in 1999, there were sightings of the Mothman in Russia before an apartment bombing. So, and again, very similar stories. So it's a very weird and very scary thing that and I've recently spent a lot of time reading about astral and ethereal planes and the veil and what separates, and the Mothman seems to be something that rides that line. That maybe it's not just something that we haven't discovered here, that maybe it actually is some sort of traveler or some sort of being that's beyond our comprehension, but is absolutely completely benign, and that's fascinating and slightly terrifying to me.
You're right, Alex. I'm the one that's thinking too much. I apologize.
When I suggested this topic, it's because I had just I was doing something and thought of the Mothman, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to talk about the Mothman. Let's see if we can find a reason to. And here we are.
I like the fact that the chupacabra is Hispanic. Alex, you're overthinking it, Harry. Fucking, the bonus it's available in cross planes and. Can you imagine what if all this, right? What if all this is true? Like, what if the Mothman is real and then he shows up when bad shit happens? But what if he's just like a family man and he's like, every time we go on vacation, something fucking bad happens. He's like the George Costanza of cryptids, where he's like, I asked my family to go to fucking Pearl Harbor. Like it's one of those things where he's like, we went to fucking Russia. I wanted to escape the whole fucking thing. So we just went to Russia, just get the views in, finally see some snow. And all of a sudden, fucking, this apartment building comes down on us. That's where we had our hostel. How am I supposed to know?
Yeah. So it was my number one. DeBona said most of what I was going to say, except for the ethereal plane thing. What Polly just mentioned was something I was going to bring up, that it's correct that there was on Expedition X, they did go and investigate, because there was a recent sighting in Chicago that was caught on video, and actually a few different people saw it. Only one guy did catch it on video, of what looked like a creature with like a 10-foot wingspan just flying over Chicago.
I don't know a fucking 10-foot wingspan. Like 10 feet that's fucking massive, bro.
You're onto a basketball hoop.
I legit, like, I was years ago, I was driving down Alligator Alley, and fucking like 2:00 in the morning, right, driving back home from a gig, and this owl flew in front of me, and it fucking flew in slow motion. It was one of those things where it looked, I'm driving 80 fucking miles an hour down the and it fucking flew in slow motion, turned its head and fucking looked at me like it just acknowledged my like, hey, you're fucking there. But it was the scariest shit that I had ever seen because the fucking wings on this shit opened up. And as a dumb fucking city guy, I don't know how big a fucking owl's wingspan is.
Fly pelican.
Because even though I've seen fucking owls before, I've never seen one in person fucking with its wings wide open. And it just looked at me and I freaked the fuck out, like literally yelled at the top of my lungs, like scared. Ah! And this fucking owl, I could have sworn this owl he was looking at me, he kind of just put like his fucking, like his wing, and he was like, relax, bro, calm down. I'm just flying to the other side. And he literally just flew from one side of the road and crossed, and I'm like, and I thought, man, those fucking wings are huge. I can't even, clearly not 10 fucking feet wingspan, right? An owl doesn't have a fucking 10-foot. I can't even imagine what a fucking 10-foot wingspan. That shit would have hit my car, flipped my car over. That's crazy. I'm sorry. I don't mean to get caught up on these like, oh, the fucking lizard guy was 7 feet tall. The wingspan is 10. I'm like, that's a massive wingspan. Like, it's just impressive to me. I'm like, very
terrifying.
Yeah,
and the thing. So like the first,
eyes are red. The eyes are red. You guys have been fucking neglecting to mention the fucking eyes.
Glowing red eyes. Now the interesting thing is, so like the first account of the Mothman is terrifying, because it's just these two couples were driving down a dark road, and then all of a sudden this giant humanoid with a 10-foot wingspan's chasing after them and flying after them.
Yeah,
and they're just shitting themselves, and they tell everybody, and everybody's like, what are you talking about? And they're like, it was attacking the car. It was so the birth, quote unquote, of the Mothman is, and you add to the fact that the area where the Mothman's been originally sighted and seen and stuff like that was an ex-military base where they used to develop explosives and work with explosives and do all this kind of like
TNT.
Yeah.
Oh my!
But then and it's got such a following that you had mentioned it. You showed the statue that they started the Mothman Festival in 2002, where literally tens of thousands of people go to this festival every year for the Mothman, and they do hunts and they do all these things for the Mothman. And like the
last
one thing
last year's was cool because you have to have your 10-foot wingspan, and that was your social distance. Like, all right.
So you'll like this one, Neri. So when I was reading up on the Mothman, in June 2020, a petition was started where it's had 2,000 signatures, which I'm going to sign it. Where they want all of the Confederates monuments in the state to be turned into Mothman statues.
Yeah, I read that. I'm down for that. I'll sign that shit too. I don't even believe in this thing, but I'll sign for that shit. Can you imagine, like, Jeff, you were talking about like its origin? It's like the first time it was seen, terrifying. This couple's like, oh my god, we were just driving, we just see this huge animal, whatever. We're not saying it's aliens, but it's alien. But I love the fact that it's all perspective, right? So this human couple is like, oh my god, it's fucking crazy. Cut to this guy's origin. He's like, and then I learned to fly. Dad, it was amazing. I felt like I was floating in it. And to him, it's like the most romantic, like, oh man, what a beautiful memory of it.
You just made me think they're driving away and he's behind them. Your gas can's open.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hilarious. But he's just like, it's our perspective where in his mind is like, and I finally took flight, Papa. And I just like, this magical beat, and then cut to the humans, like fucking losing their shit. All right, so yeah, man.
Hey, did you want to say anything? Because it was your number 3.
I mean, DeBona was so thorough.
Yeah.
Man, he didn't overthink it. All right. So
as DeBona's talking, I'm like, yep, that was something I was gonna mention. That was something else I was gonna. That was something. That's why I was like, you did it perfect, Bona. You said it for all of us.
Number 1 with a bullet, man. There was never any doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Jeff, what do you got for your number 1, man?
Mothman. That's why I just talked about it.
It was the same one, Mothman. All right. Mothman.
So let me talk about the interdimensions, though, for a second. So,
why I like the Mothman is because it flies at 160 beats per minute. So if you listen to the Mothman flying interdimensionally, it is flying at also 160 beats per minute.
What you don't know is that the Mothman's one of the agents from Time Cop. and he's actually that's why he went to the bridge to try to stop it, and then to the
shit.
bomb.
Have none of you watched Fringe?
I saw the first episode, and I never.
So
watched
one
it.
of my favorite,
I still, like 5 years later, haven't seen it. I'm sorry.
one of my
Mary.
favorite TV series of all time. By far my favorite sci-fi series of all time. And there's a guy, they do like the slimming, like the slim man, like the thin, whatever the fuck it's called, the thin man, whatever.
Slenderman?
Or Slenderman, right? But it's not Slenderman, it's a group of people, but they happen to be in big events throughout history because they're the ones, they're viewers, they're like
The Watchers.
they're like the watchers of time or whatever.
The silence.
And this shit kind of reminds me of it. Like, what if the Mothman is like, no, I'm just here to fucking record history, dude. I'm not causing this shit, but I just look like a fucking freak to you guys. But what if I told you that whenever I time travel in this dimension, you guys are the fucking freaks because everybody on my planet looks just like me, you motherfuckers.
I'm a model where I'm from.
Yeah, I gotta say, my bitch, you fat fuck, step your game. Before you
I'm
fucking
on
go
Moth
judge me.
Illustrated. Fuck
Before-
you.
Before you go judge me, how about you go fucking do a sit-up, Neri?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Mothman, I ain't taking no shit no more from you, motherfucker. Where am I? Let's see here.
You're number one.
My number one is on a lot of people's honorable mentions, and I gotta be honest with you, I learned about her, I don't know. I learned about this for the first time ever 20 minutes before we started recording, and I was like, what? And it's the Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
I did not look. The hockey team is called the Jersey Devils. The fucking people in Jersey.
Our Devils.
There's a lot of There's a lot of there's like a lot of rappers and rap groups from Jersey that either their moniker are something related to Jersey Devils, or they throw that line in Jersey, like about Jersey Devils, right? I just assumed it was because of the fame that Jersey has of being, a lot of criminal activity. So I just assumed all my life, whenever I heard the phrase Jersey Devils, I was like, oh, that's cool. The NHL team took on that moniker of like Jersey badass, because like Jersey, like, oh, that I didn't know that was a fucking cryptic mythological. I didn't know. I fucking didn't know. So I'm looking this shit up, and then it says, said to inhabit the Pine Barrens of South Jersey, the creature is often described as a flying biped with hooves. But there are many variations. The common description is that of a bipedal kangaroo-like creature with a horse or goat-like head, leathery bat-like wings, horns, small arms with clawed hands, legs with cloven hooves, and a forked tail.
Yeah.
It has been reported to move quickly and is often described as emitting a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream.
Metal as fuck.
Yeah.
That is super fucking metal. And then you look at the picture of this fucking what I fell in love with was the image of the, sorry, I fucking lost my train of thought there, of the Jersey Devil. And legit, I was like, oh shit, this rendering is, where is it here? Jersey.
I know which one you're about to pull.
I mean, it's the fucking classic, right? It's the one that everybody has.
Mhm.
And to me, I was like, this shit looks super creepy and super scary, but also it looks like it's not taking out anything, right? Like, let's be fucking real. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Hold on, here we go. And there you go. This shit right here.
Yeah, there it is.
You go, what the fuck is that doing? Like that wouldn't survive in, like, you know what I mean? Like that wouldn't survive in nature. Like the arms aren't big enough to get something in the fuck. It has the, like, what is it doing? It's basically a goat with wings, but with 2 legs instead of 4, and it's fucking creepy and crazy. And again, the description of it sold me, and I was like, this is a thing. This is in the blood curdling sound. We've all seen those YouTube videos of goats with fucking blood curdling sound. So I'm in, dude. I to me, when I read the description of this, as much as I love my Latino pride I was like, no, this is got to be my number one, dude. I'm sorry.
See, I learned about the Jersey Devil in one of, if not the first seasons of the X-Files, back when there was literally a file cabinet in the office that were the X-Files, and Mulder pulled it out, and there was an episode about the Jersey Devil.
Yeah, that was season 1.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know it was really, really early. Neri, did you read the origin story of the Jersey Devil about Mother Leeds? Yeah. It's so it sounds like a concept album by Black Sabbath. This mom's like, oh, I got 13 kids. Fuck it, the devil can have the 13th one. It's like, yeah.
So Polly says that as a New Jerseyan that he appreciates me for shouting out the New Jersey Devil. Yeah, dude. Yeah. So the story goes that there's a family in Leeds, right? That's also last name Leeds, and that she has 12 kids. And when she found out she was having a 13th kid, she was like, she cursed it. She literally put a curse on it and said that it was the devil, which I'm expecting my third child, and I'm doing the same. So I can understand. I completely understand you cursing out your 13th fucking kid. Like, fuck this. Who you should have been cursing out is your fucking husband's semen. Maybe just don't fuck him anymore. Like that. Maybe just stop. But yeah, that whole story is crazy. The fact that there were real people and they could track it down to like this family. Like, this family actually existed. This family was real, and then ever after that, let the chips of craziness land where they may. But
the only reason I didn't put it on my mountain was they've found this creature that basically is the Jersey Devil. It's called the hammerhead bat. That is essentially exactly what the images of the Jersey Devil are. And they have those bats can grow to massive size. So they again, and Polly will maybe comment, but they did a Jersey Devil episode on Expedition X, where they actually saw one of those bats in person, and it's literally like half the size of a person.
Yeah, they're huge.
So
and
Polly commented saying that part of initiating the freshman football players in his high school were sending them to the New Jersey Devil hunting / camping trip in the Pine Barrens and then scaring the shit out of them.
Yeah.
So here's my question to you, Jeff. You're saying that you didn't have them on the list because they're actually real?
Well, the thing is there's been
this should be the one that's on your fucking list. They found it. They actually fucking found it. Whatever it's named, who gives a fuck?
No, they found something to debunk it. They haven't found anything to debunk any of the other ones that we've picked.
Debunk it, but you're saying that they found something that's basically that.
They found a creature that that image that you posted.
Right.
If you look at the hammerhead bat and the full size hammerhead bat, it is the Jersey Devil. It is exactly the Jersey Devil.
Does that mean that it does exist? It was just called something else?
Well, I don't think that bat came out of a woman's vagina and was cursed. So, no, Neri, it didn't exist.
I think that there was a woman who actually pushed the bat out of her?
I like Jeff's
I'm not saying no. But I'd rather my palms are to the sky on this one. Is all I'm saying.
But I told the Bona too. I was gonna have like one of each category, like one winged cryptoid, one like biped, stuff like that. So the Mothman to me trumps the Jersey Devil, like everything around the Mothman. So that's why I didn't. That's the other reason why I didn't put the Jersey Devil on there. But if you look, I'm saying if you look at the hammerhead bat, they've said they're like, this is exactly what people are seeing. So odds are this is what this giant monstrous creature that if I saw that thing when I was driving, like the owl, I would freak myself out too.
It was a hammerhead what?
Hammerhead bat. And there's a picture.
And they're fucking huge.
Yeah. There's a picture that looks photoshopped that it's not of a guy holding it by the neck.
Yeah, and like
this is nightmare fuel.
And if you look at the Jersey Devil picture, it's that same face. It's the same exact thing. It's that weird like donkey face thing.
Yeah, I would. The hammerhead bat is one of those. You know what? I'm just dead. Like if I see that in the wild, it's over for me. My heart exploded immediately. Yeah, I'm twisting it myself. I'm not. I don't want to be here anymore. I hate it here.
I shat myself in a fucking owl. So if I see a fucking hammerhead bat, it's over. Jack. Just drive off the fucking bridge. I'm done for. Like I'm there's no way.
The Everglades. He's done.
Yeah.
The Mothman tried to prevent the bridge. Neary bringing a whole goddamn bridge down.
Yeah.
Because nobody should have to live in a world with hammerhead bats.
Look, Paulie, who's from Jersey, says it's South Jersey. So there's a chance that shit came out of a woman's vagina. I'm not
It's true. You're right. You're
That
right.
does seem to be what he's after.
You make a good point, Paulie.
All right, so that's my number one, dude. Is the Jersey Devil. It's the only one on my list that wasn't said by anybody else. And to be honest with you, very surprising. Very surprising. So number ones, we have the Chupacabra, Mothman, and Jersey Devil. For the final mountain, we have 3 solidified, as in the Skunk Ape, the Chupacabra, and the Mothman. So we just need a 4th.
I'll put the Kraken out there, just as a
Oh, so we didn't have 4
think
duplicates?
about it.
No,
No,
I guess not. We just had the 3 on Neary's list.
But did you have Mothman, Neary?
Yeah. That
Oh,
was
I
my
thought you did.
4.
Okay.
That was my number 4. The Chupacabra was my number 2. The Skunk Ape was my number 3. No, there's it. There's none of you said anything that wasn't on my list. There's no other repeats.
I mean, since Nessie's not on there, Champ's the closest thing.
Champ,
That is true.
Kraken. The ones that we haven't repeated are Kraken, Black Shuck, Lizard Man of Lee County. Shout out to Larry. The Bunyip, Champ the Monster, and the Jersey Devil. Those are the ones who have not been repeated.
You said Groot Slang, correct? The
Oh, I did not say the Groot Slang.
Oh
I said
man,
Groot
the
Slang.
cruise. But it was very mythological.
Yeah.
But
As opposed to the Kraken, that was the one that we called, Clash of the Titans. You're right. That was.
I like the idea of Champ making it as like an American Nessie. Plus, there's the we can't prove it's fake photo that leads to it. I think there's enough surrounding that one with how large Lake Champlain is and everything for it to be as believable as any of the others that we've got here. I like the Champ pick a lot.
Yeah, I second that.
I like the Black Shook. Be honest with you, that was like the one that I was like, that's pretty fucking rad. It's a giant wolf, so it doesn't have anything else. But I'm just like, all right.
But it's got the eyes. It's got the
Skyrim.
crack eyes.
You know what the problem is? You know why the Black Shook has my vote is because I've seen it in a movie and I've seen it in 300 and it looked amazing in 300. I'm like, this shit fucking looks great. I don't know if that's exactly what it was, but fuck, it looked great. But whatever you guys decide, if you guys got 2 votes to the to Champ.
We're at 3 actually.
Yeah.
Champ. All right, so we'll put Champ. Champ. Wait a fucking. I mean, Jersey Devil, but whatever.
Man, how'd you guys not pick Lizard Man? No, I'm just kidding.
Larry,
Larry, bro. How could you do Larry like that? No.
I
was one away from that perfect mountain this
Oh,
time,
Neary.
just like you, Neri.
yeah, except that the one that I was missing is on everyone's honorable mention.
When I picked the Groot,
Everybody's honorable mention.
when I picked the Groot Slang, I knew nobody else, maybe Debona, was gonna have it because when I was like, Debona, is this like all right enough? He goes, that's yeah. I go, okay, cool. It's metal as fuck. Yeah, it is metal as fuck. I was like, yeah.
I knew going with the Kraken was kind of pushing it. And I was probably not gonna, but I had to be true to myself.
It was on my mountain earlier today, but when I thought about that, like how overly mythological, even though the Groot Slang is mythological, don't get me wrong. But that's why I didn't put the Kraken. Blame Debona, he talked me out of it.
I did.
All right, so that's the final mountain: the Mothman, the Chupacabra, the Skunk Ape, and Champ.
I like it.
Again,
It's a
great
great
marketing.
mountain.
Great marketing, fucking name, bro. Champ.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you guys for checking us out. We will be going live. We're going to be trying to do this every week. Just like we've been trying to put up episodes every week. If you are listening to this on the audio podcast, and you are wondering where episode 140 went, it was done live the week prior. However, the sound audio, because I was working off of Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi in my office was complete garbage. I decided not to release that audio version because it was so fucking choppy and so bad that I don't want to put out shitty quality. But if you're interested in listening to it, if you're interested in watching it, you can go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/MT.Geekmore, or my comedy page, Nary Science Comedy, or the YouTube for Mt.Geekmore. And you'll see it. You can see the video, but I am not releasing the audio version of it because it's so choppy. When you watch it, it's bad enough, but if you would just listen to it without being able to watch how fucking choppy it is, like, it's not. I'm making it sound worse than it actually was as far as quality, but I'm a stickler for the fucking sound quality. So this is episode 141, and on all the audio formats, there will be no 140, which I think is kind of fucking metal, to be honest with you. Like, what happened to fucking 140? All right, so thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure you guys check out and like our Facebook page, like our YouTube page, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We don't bombard you with 1,000 videos. We're just gonna do one a week. So, and it's gonna be live, and just like Polly and just like Alex Lobo, you'll be able to comment and while we do it live, and we'll be able to see it. So thank you. Yeah.
Really quick. I'm proud of you because at the beginning of the episode, you were saying around the horn a lot, and I was going to start a tally to see how many times you said it, and you cut that off real quick.
I only remember saying it once, but
you said it a lot at the beginning. I noticed it too.
Oh, I
was like, is this a thing now?
I'd also like to point out, I kept a tally on how many times Neri was going to remind us that they're all fake, and you only did it twice.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be that guy that's like,
yes, you do.
Yes, you do. To be that guy.
No. I'm not saying I'm not that guy. I said I don't want to be that guy.
Okay. Those are two different things.
That guy.
But I am very much that guy that believes that all of you are dumb for believing any of this. I'm just going to go ahead and pray to my Lord Jesus Christ and say that with real sense of irony. That's all I thought about when Dave goes, "Oh yeah, my dad," and again, I don't believe in any of this shit. I'm like, isn't he a deacon for religion? Like, isn't the fucking there's no sense of irony when he says that shit? All right.
Dave, no comment face.
Anyway, thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure you go and like our shit on Facebook, Instagram, all of that jazz, and make sure you check out the Geek Bro Podcast Network, where you check out other podcasts that are on the Geek Bro Podcast Network, such as Better Let Me Tell You, such as the What's Up Bro podcast, such as the Mike Valdez one. God, I fucking had it right now.
Mike Valdez.
Every time, bro. Right now, and I just a moment I was like, oh, why did I go blank? I put too much pressure on myself. So Childlike at Best with Mike Valdez. Make sure you guys check that out. And Geekmore is also part of the Helium Podcast Network, the Helium Comedy Club Podcast Network. So go to heliumpresents.com, and there's a lot of fantastic podcasts out there. So make sure you guys check that out.
Also, maybe Jeff and I are going to buy a badass muscle car, put on some denim jackets, and start driving around the country looking for these things.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. This has been discussed.
I like the fact that Jeff, which is like outwardly the one with the most anxiety in our group, is also the one that's like, hey, I'm gonna go look for these things that have been known to kill humans. Let's go look for them. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound
Listen,
like.
I have the most anxiety, but I freaking love ghost hunting. I love doing all this like crazy, like that stuff like that.
That's what keeps it in control.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get possessed by somebody with less anxiety.
I just picture Jeff going to these haunted houses with a blood pressure machine, like.
That's my device. It's instead of.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys for listening. Thank you very much. Oh, check out the like I said, the podcast network, but also check out my comedy page, naryscience.com or whatwashisname.com. And that's it. Love you guys. Oh shit, did we get no? It's oddly
Nope.
calming. Yeah, that's what he said. Paulie said it's oddly calming. I wanted to get all the comments in there. Thank you guys, man. Appreciate it. Bye.
Later.